Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, my today's topic is about the chromosomes and the genes for class 10th. First one, the chromosome. Chromosome is a thread-like structure in the nucleus of a cell formed of DNA which carries the genes. Different organisms have different number of chromosomes in their nuclei. A gene is a unit of DNA on a chromosome which governs the synthesis of one protein that controls a specific characteristic or trait of an organism. There are thousands of genes on a chromosome which control various characteristics of an organism. Genes are actually units of heredity which transfer characteristics or traits from parents to their offspring during reproduction. Genes work in pairs. Genes are represented by letters. Genes controlling same characteristics are given the same letters. For example, the gene for tallness is represented by the capital letter T, whereas the gene for dwarfness is represented by the small letter t. The letters capital T and small t actually represent two forms of the same gene, which controls the length of an organism. The genes had not been discovered at the time when Mendel conducted his experiments on pea plants to study the inheritance of characteristics. The term factors which were used by Mendel as carriers of hereditary information are now known as genes. Now, the genes controlling for the same characteristics of an organism can be of two types. One is dominant gene, another is recessive gene. The gene which decides the appearance of an organism even in the presence of an alternative gene is known as a dominant gene. It dominates the recessive gene for the same characteristic on the other chromosome of the pair. The dominant gene is represented by a capital letter. The dominant, for example, in pea plants, the dominant gene for tallness is capital T. And then the recessive gene, the gene which can decide the appearance of an organism only in the presence of another gene, another identical gene, is called a recessive gene. A single recessive gene cannot decide the appearance of an organism. The recessive gene is represented by the small letter. For example, in pea plants, the recessive gene for dwarfness is represented by small t. And then genotypes. Genotype is the description of genes present in an organism. Genotype is always a pair of letters such as capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, or small t, small t. And the characteristics or a trait which is visible in an organism is called as phenotype. For example, being tall or short are phenotypes of a plant because these traits can be seen by us. Then F1 generation, when two parents cross to produce progeny, then their progeny is called F1 generation. When the first generation progeny